What is up, guys? Thought I would do a video for you tonight. So I hope you guys are doing well. So I wanted to talk about the Panto show, the early Panto at Hackney Empire. I mean, obviously, as I said in the video yesterday, really good Panto this year, Dick Whittington in his hat. My advice for you guys if you're going to the pantomime is keep your phones in your pockets. I say that because when we went to the panto on Friday night, there was a woman sat 2 rows in front of us with her kids. She had her phone, and now she wasn't filming the show or anything, but she was just taking pictures, and one of the girls came over and said to her, "No, you don't put your phone away." Now, what's funny is it's that same thing happened last year as well when me, my sister and her boyfriend went. There was a guy sat, I think, again 2 rows in front of us, was taking pictures, and they said to him, "No, you don't put your phone away." Obviously it's too risky having your phone out, obviously you will get hooked. Obviously, I do love Hackney Empire. Whenever I step foot in Hackney Empire, it takes me back to when I was a kid. Like, every Christmas time, primary school, always involved a pantomime trip, always involved going to Hackney Empire for, the Christmas panto. It's amazing to think about how many years Clive Rowe has actually been doing the pantomime at the panto shows at Hackney Empire, as he was doing them when I was a kid. When I was in primary school, I remember he was always in them. And here he is years later, still going strong in the panto shows every year. His performances alone always make the panto show so good. Obviously he's not only one of the stars of the show, but he's also like a director of the pantomimes as well. So it's obviously a big responsibility for him, because he's not obviously he's not only acting in the panto show itself, but he's also directing it as well. So it's a lot of work, for him to do. But yeah, every time I walk back into a step foot in Hackney Empire, it makes me feel like a little kid again. It's just so magical. It feels like it takes me back to when I was a kid. I was always excited as a kid. For the pantos every year when we went. At school. One of the things we all look forward to. As I said yesterday, I think Christmas for me it doesn't feel the same as it did years ago. Because years ago, it felt so much more magical for me. But it doesn't. Obviously, I'm 23 now, so it doesn't feel like it's as magical as it used to be. Because I remember when I was a kid, I remember being so excited, running down the stairs on Christmas, running into the front room on Christmas Day, waiting to see what Santa brought me and all that. It's it's one of the things that I remember most about Christmas when I was a kid. And that was like one of them. It was so much more magical. But it feels like when you actually get older, it feels like the magic of Christmas is something that just it goes away. It's not as magical as it used to be. And that's one of the saddest things, about Christmas for me, is now I'm older now, I'm 23, the magic of Christmas just doesn't feel like it's really there anymore. It feels like, it used to feel, Christmas used to feel like such a magical time of the year for me when I was a kid, but now it doesn't feel as magical anymore. It's all, you think about how magical and exciting it is for younger children and how much they love Christmas and how excited they are for it, and it's like, it's so much better for them because that magic is still there. It still feels so magical for them. But for people like myself, it doesn't feel that magical anymore. It's like, I'm not saying I don't enjoy Christmas, because I do enjoy Christmas. I love Christmas, probably my favourite time of the year. It's probably everyone's favourite time of the year. If I had to pick some of my favourite Christmas films, first was The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and then obviously it's Home Alone 1 and 2, Home Alone 1 and 2, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, a brilliant film, and then the Nativity films as well. Now, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas was, without a doubt, every year, was a film that we usually, obviously, when it came down to like the last week of the autumn term in primary school, which was like the week that we broke up for the Christmas holidays, we didn't do any work in class. We just used to watch like Christmas films and things like that, and without and no word of a lie, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas was a film we watched every year, every Christmas, and it's a film I still love even now, Same with the Home Alone films, you'll never stop loving those films. The Nativity films are really good. I enjoyed the first and second Nativity films with Martin Freeman and David Tennant in them. I wasn't a big fan of Nativity 3, the one that had Martin Clunes in it. I wasn't a big fan of that one, and I wasn't a big fan of Nativity Rocks either. You know what I think's funny is how both Joanna Page and Ruth Jones have both appeared in Nativity films. So Joanna Page was in Nativity 2, Danger in the Manger, and Dawn French. Ruth Jones was in Nativity Rots, which was the full film they did. Obviously, you think about it's so weird to think that Nativity won. I was watching it the other day and I was thinking, wow, this film came out in 2009. This film is 15 years old. So crazy to think that the first Nativity film is 15 years old this year. It's unbelievable. Obviously then those are films I love watching every Christmas, without a doubt. Again, Home Alone, for me, Home Alone 1 and 2, very enjoyable. I much prefer the two films with Macaulay Culkin in them, along with Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. I wasn't a big fan of Home Alone 3 or 4. To me, they just didn't feel that great compared to, to Home Alone 1 and 2, and I don't think they've ever done a feel as great as Home Alone 1 and 2. I'm not saying that Home Alone's 3 and 4 are bad films. I'm absolutely in no way saying that Home Alone's 3 and 4 are bad films. I just don't rate them as highly as I would rate Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Those films, I'm always going to rate those films so much higher than I genuinely rate Home Alone 3 and 4. Because those two films weren't as good. For me they weren't as good anyway. Some of you guys might have a different opinion to them. Some of you guys maybe might have liked them. Some of you guys, might have enjoyed them. But for me, they just weren't my cup of tea. Suffice it to say, and I think, it's just crazy. I do love the, I used to love Advent calendars. I used to like a few different, a few things I liked, and I still do. I like the Christmas music, I love the Christmas music. I'll be a bit of Fairy Tale of New York. But, one of the best Christmas songs I've ever heard. I hope I don't know what the New Year's TV lineup is going to be like this year. It's had that Christmas shows have been crap the last few years. What I've always said I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to go up to Scotland and actually experience Hogmanay. I bet Hogmanay is such a great thing to experience. I really want to know what it's like. Because it's one of those things I've never experienced, and it would be so cool, and I just think that it would be so cool to actually experience what Hogmanay is like, I'm not saying I don't think I would enjoy it, but I'm just saying I haven't experienced it, and I haven't really experienced it yet, so I would, me and my uncle said we'd love to go up to Scotland one year and for Hogmanay. It'd be very easy for us to get to Scotland, because all we'd have to do is get a train. up to either Edinburgh or Glasgow, whichever way we wanted to go. But it's about train. Again, it's train fares, isn't it? But as I said, you can't beat a bit of you can't beat a bit of Home Alone this Christmas. Yeah, I love those films. I think my favourite bit in Home Alone 2 is when Marv is hit with the brick and he's laying on the floor and he's going, Harry? Harry? I love those. I love that. I love that scene. It's hilarious. And I think when he shoots himself in the he shoots himself with the nail gun. My favourite scene in the first film is when Harry shoots him through the letterbox, or shoots him through the hat flap, should I say? Yeah, that was one of the things that or the dog flap. That was one of the things that that didn't make sense for the Home Alone, for the first Home Alone film, is why did they have a dog flap? Because, I mean, did the McAllisters actually have a dog? I don't think we saw that. My other question is how was Heaven's father, Peter McAllister, able to actually afford all the things he was able to afford? That's one of the things that don't make sense. Well, I'm sure everyone knows this by now, but Home Alone 2, Donald Trump actually makes a cameo appearance in that film. I'd love to go and see what the Plaza Hotel is like these days. I mean, it probably looks amazing inside. But yeah, I mean, Christmas, as I said, for me, just it doesn't feel like that so much of a magical time of year anymore. Like, for me, as when I was a kid, like, Christmas was so awesome, like, so magical, one of the most magical times of the year. Like, you wake up in the morning and all those Christmas presents, there, I was always, as a kid, I was always so excited, I always found it so hard to get to sleep at night, so I was always so excited, to open all of my presents in the morning. And I still look forward to that. I still look forward on Christmas Eve night to going to sleep, and there being all the presents there when I wake up. But it just doesn't, that whole thing just doesn't feel as magical to me anymore because I'm older now. I'm not saying I don't, but I mean, would it be weird for a 23-year-old to say he still believes in Santa Claus? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there maybe are some adults out there who still believe in Santa Claus. And there's no harm in that. There's no harm in an adult believing in, saying that admitting that they still believe in Santa Claus. But the thing that I love the most about Christmas is having my family around, and being able to spend, to enjoy Christmas with my family and those who, dear to me and those who mean so much to me. Having all of those people around me always makes Christmas so much more special, as it does for everyone. Christmas is that time of year where you want your family around you, and you need your family around you. I mean, as I said before, nobody deserves to be alone this Christmas. No one. Everyone deserves to have family around them at Christmas. But it's sad to think about the fact that there are people out there who won't have family around them this Christmas, and who will be, alone. Suffice it, let's put it that way, it's just heartbreaking, really, to think about. But, that's a sad reality that so many people are facing, and it's quite sad to think about that, but it is what it is, So many people are facing difficult times this Christmas, and this is the thing, no one deserves to face a difficult time this Christmas. No one deserves, everyone deserves to look forward to Christmas, but I know there's a lot of people out there who won't be looking forward to Christmas for whatever that reason might be. And as I said in my video yesterday, I just hope that, in 2025, things get easier for a lot of you guys. I hope that 2025 is a better year for those of you guys who may have had a crap year this year, or may have not had the most enjoyable year for whatever the reason might be for that. But Christmas is also an important time of the year because it's a time of year where we remember those who sadly lost and who have sadly passed away. And it can make you miss those people more than this time of year. It's a time of year that can make you miss those people more than anything in the world. And it's a time of the year that can make you really wish those people were here. And Christmas is a time of year where I always wish, it's getting to the point where, we're getting to a time again where I do wish my granddad was here this Christmas. Christmas last year really didn't feel the same without him. It's always hard to look back at Christmas 2022 knowing that was the last Christmas we had. Little did we know that at the time, but sadly it was. Obviously we weren't to know at the time that it was going to be his last ever Christmas. Which sadly, and it did end up being his last ever Christmas. And obviously last Christmas 2023, was our first Christmas without him. And it was extremely hard. My thoughts are with all of you guys who have lost someone you loved this year and won't have obviously, I hope that you won't be on your own this Christmas. I hope that you have a family around you this Christmas to share the love. Christmas is a time to share the love. It's a time for love. It's a time of year for good times. It's a time of year to be happy despite how difficult that might be. It's a time to keep your spirits up. And it's a time, but obviously, it's so crazy to think that Christmas is upon us again. What a year 2024 has been. And I wonder what sort of year, what's going to happen in 2025. I've also been thinking about all of the celebrities, all of the big names we've lost this year. Because we have lost some pretty big names. And I wonder who will sadly have to say goodbye to next year. Because there'll probably be plenty of big names that we have to say goodbye to next year. Who knows who it will be that we have to say goodbye to next year, but we may have to say goodbye to some pretty big. We've had to say goodbye and bid farewell to some pretty big names this year. And although this year has been a hard year for some, it's also been a good year. Obviously, Christmas for me, it's a nice time of the year. I am feeling in a Christmassy mood. So I'll tell you what's funny, right? The other day I was when we went down to Bethnal Green for what I had to go down there for. On the bus, I said to my mum that this week, when my universal credit went in on Thursday, I was going to order myself a box set of the Home Alone films. So we got off the bus and we had an hour to wait. So we walked down and had a little look in some of the shops on Bethnal Green Road. And we went into a charity shop, and this is the first charity shop we walked into. And what was in the first charity shop that we walked into? Let me see if I can find it. I don't know, it's not now. Bear with me a moment. Found it. So this was in the this was in the first on the shelf at the first charity shop we walked into. What a coincidence. I said I was going to order this box set when my money went in this week, and the first charity shop we go into, this is on the shelf. One of the weirdest coincidences I've ever experienced. I said I was going to buy this box set this week, on Thursday. And we go into a charity shop, and in the first charity shop we go into, this box set of the Home Alone films is on the shelf for $4.99. Oh my day! I was stunned. I was like, oh my god! I just said on the bus I was going to order a box set of these, this week, and they're on the shelf. And they're in good condition as well. They're in really good condition. I've watched the first two, which is Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. So I've got Home Alone 3 and 4 still to watch. Obviously, you can't beat this box set at, Christmas. Christmas is a time where I'm always binge watching these four films, Home Alone films. You want a good box set? You want a good Christmas box set? This Home Alone. Who doesn't love Home Alone? And who doesn't think that the Home Alone films are absolutely hilarious? The first two films are really hilarious. Definitely worth the watch. These are up there as my favourites for Christmas. These are films I would definitely recommend for Christmas. It's box set. It's the Home Alone films. You have to watch these if you haven't watched them already. I don't think there is anyone who hasn't watched these Home Alone films already. Definitely worth to watch if you haven't, though. For those of you that actually haven't seen Home Alone yet, well, you must have been living under a rock to have not seen the Home Alone films, to have not already seen the Home Alone films. So you can see all four DVDs in the box set for $4.99. Good value for these in the charity shop, $4.99 for 4 films. I'll say, you can't get fairer than that. Basically, let's call it a $5 of 4 films for a $5. You can't beat that price. For the box set of 4 films that are actually arguably the most popular Christmas films of all time, I would say that's decent value. If you imagine if you think about how much this box set probably would cost on Amazon or eBay, £5.99 for £5 for the box set in a charity shop. A good price for them. So I'll watch Home Alone 3 actually, probably in a minute once I finish this video. But very weirdly coincidental how I said I was going to buy a box of Home Alone films this week. And then we walked into a charity shop and these are on the bloody shelf. That's the first charity shop we walked into as well. Yeah, definitely recommend watching that you watch these films if you haven't watched them already, for whatever that reason might be. But yeah, as I said, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'll see you for another video very soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.